Welcome back to another episode of OPL Recaps. I'm your host, Jimmy Jams. In the house, of course, Sergeant Mike Bryant. Folks, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe down below. Let's get into the next episode.
And we're back.
We're back, baby.
How's it going?
Happy to be here.
What you got in that cup?
Why do you do this to me?
So, how's bike week treating you?
Oh my God. I'm sore. My voice is shot. You can probably hear it. I'm struggling tonight, folks. But I'm here for the people. I'm a man of the people. This is People's Podcast.
That's it.
Yeah, here we are. How about you?
It was a good weekend. Busy. Went out on the bikes. Missed a little bit of the show. Got to watch a little bit of the show. You know, we were just out and about, cruising around.
Yeah. Looking
for you. Found you. You know.
Yeah.
You're a busy guy.
Pics coming for that.
Hard to keep up with you on a motorcycle.
That's not true. You zoom right by me. Guys, we're going to show you his bike. The interview's coming. Stand by. Keep watching. You're going to see some of his good stuff with Jimmy J. So what's up, man? What do we got for this weekend?
Yeah, it's starting off strong every week.
You know, I posted something on X the other day. I retweeted something from a year ago. And every bike week only goes one way. You know what way that is?
You're going to tell me.
The Daytona way. That's the way bike week goes. And, you know, whether the show's on or not, it's going to go the Daytona way. I think we could all agree with that, right?
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Good times.
Any accents?
Why we go right into it? Whew. Man, it's been rough.
I mean,
yeah.
We see stuff on social media here and there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's just like a little quick snippet, but
yeah.
How many accents? A lot?
Been a lot. Thank God none of them were like super tragic or fatal. Been a lot of crashes, a lot of people dumping bikes. So yeah, it's been an eventful week so far. And what are we? How many days in are we?
I mean, officially.
Well, let's not tell them how many days. But the weekend's already here.
Yeah.
Because when they see this, it'll be the weekend again.
It'll be the weekend again. So yeah, I guess you're right. I guess you can't just be like, oh, it's this many days, because when you see it, we're going to fast forward to the next weekend. Got to get used to the whole YouTube life.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It is. It's a little strange, but we'll get the hang of it.
Yeah. Keep watching. We're getting better.
New mics. Look, Wi-Fi's good. Mics are good.
Right. Lighting's good.
Lighting's great.
Your haircut.
Ooh. I mean, it's just
baby.
Just a little quick something. You know,
Sure.
Yours is looking better than mine now.
Well, you know, I woke up like this.
So let's get into the show.
Okay.
Let's get into the show.
Yeah.
We start off with on Friday. Oh,
Mm.
Hazen.
Okay.
Chief Taylor out of his car at a house. I was like, wait a minute, what just happened?
Yes.
I was like, he's at a house. This is totally off script to me.
Mm-hmm.
But there he is. Just,
Yeah.
there's peaches.
Like an alternate universe.
It is. It's, you know, it's Bizarro World from like Seinfeld. Just
Correct.
two totally different things that you're just not expecting.
Yeah. Yeah. What was the call? I don't even.
He was serving a warrant.
Peaches.
I mean, there was like a bunch of people there. I don't even know how, like, the original call was for one thing, and then it was just talking about peaches the whole time.
Spiraling into something else.
It was. It just kept going sideways, and I was like, what was the original thing going on here? And you're just like, it's Chief Taylor.
It's just Chief Taylor.
It's like they're all friends. It's like that little town that's just all friends, and you know, he pretty much said it plain as day. I'm a babysitter. I mean, that's all it counts, right?
Yes. Unfortunately, this line of work, you become several things. Babysitters, like Chief Taylor said, counselors, you know, you become all kinds of stuff. Law enforcement, dictators, disciplinarian.
It's wild. Like, you gotta make sure you got that right hat on for every interaction.
Or you can switch it quick.
This is true. Because this is
happens
true.
Fast, yeah. Gotta be a magician with a hat. And sleight of hand.
It's true. I love the way Chief Taylor just like, I'm just, everybody come outside and then he just walks in the house. And he's just like, he's looking for whoever. Nobody's here. He closes the door and he just, let me just talk to you guys and away we go. He just walked in the house like it was
by himself.
Yeah, he just did a little peek in.
Yes.
He did a little peek in and no.
Cheers to you, Chief Taylor. Man's game.
He knows how to play it.
Yes.
And he does it so well. Just effortlessly. Let me just go and get this beautiful voice upon everybody, and they're all going to bow down to me. And it was great because they all just pretty much, all right, let's figure this out.
Give him what you want.
That's it.
I saw a little bit of the clips from that, and people were talking like, he does do things other than the highway. He's a police department, it's not troopers or, highway patrol. So, yeah, they do answer calls elsewhere. So that shouldn't be surprising. But for the novice or those who don't know, they answer calls all over that city in Hazen. So it's good to see him at a house taking care of some business. Have we heard from the chief yet?
No. Chief Taylor. Come on.
I thought they were going to share this with him and tag him in it and all that. Okay, well, maybe you guys didn't get to it. Okay, we got to clip it and get the Chief Taylor.
What if Wifey got a shirt from him? What if we get a shirt and send it to him? Just do that. Let's get a shirt and just send it to him.
All right.
Some stickers, some patches.
Would you rock it, Chief? But then everybody's going to get jealous and want merch.
I mean, we got to start somewhere. So it's like a pre-production. Like, here, check this out.
The merch is coming.
All right.
You guys, it's going to happen.
Chief Taylor, you're on the list. Daytona. That car in the river. That was chaos. Like, just so much going on. And then you just got so many stories.
Yeah.
How'd you come to your end conclusion of what to do?
Yeah. It's weird how calls work in certain cities. You have to know your city. You have to know where to be, right? And computers in our cars will show us pending calls, active calls, closed calls. I see this call come out, and I immediately start heading towards that area because I was like, I read the notes in the call, and it said that there's a vehicle in the river, and people ran away. So I immediately said to myself, Jesus walking on water. How do they run from a car in the river? So anyway, we show up, and the location was wrong, so we had to find it. It was a handful of stuff, but I will say this. That was a wild call.
I mean, I bet.
What all did they show? Because I don't think did they show the vehicle in the water?
I mean, there were some pictures posted of the vehicle in the water.
Separate photos.
Yes. It's amazing how many people are Johnny on the spot when it comes to something. You were in one of the photos from across the river.
Who posted that?
What's Shady in Daytona?
Shout out What's Shady in Daytona. Somebody send this to them. Holler at us. I like your merch, but we need to have a conversation. So these people weren't from the area, and allegedly they made a wrong turn. I don't know if they lost control of the vehicle. They're right into the water because there's no guardrails up where they went over. And they got out, and we followed their footsteps to where they were. They went back into the water, hid under a dock, and officers found them. As we were canvassing the area. So the stories are all over the place. You're right, but the owner did show up, met with them, and they handled it amongst themselves. That's what I'll say. You had two witnesses who observed them exiting the vehicle or exiting the water, but none of the witnesses actually saw who was coming around from the driver's side. Had one of the witnesses said that guy or that girl was coming from the driver's side, we could have charged them with leaving the scene. Crash with property damage, but we didn't have a witness that can do that. So that night, they got away with what they did.
But you always catch a man at the end, right? Everybody always slips up, and they always think, I got away with it, I'm going to try it again, right?
Yeah, because they lied to us, and they changed their story. It's just a hint.
Karma always comes back around to them. What else were you dealing with? Oh, God. The guy between the two vans.
Vanilla Ice.
That was great. That was great. All that Timu jewelry on him was just. It gave him away, huh? That flashlight was just like, wow, what was that? What was that glass?
Yeah. I don't think it was cubic zirconia. It was probably just glass. But it was sparkly, So have you ever seen a transient?
Yeah.
With that much jewelry?
Negative.
We've been around.
Negative.
You've been living in this county your entire life in this city, basically. I've never seen that.
I don't think I've ever seen one with a watch, let alone Mr. T startup kit. Not a chance.
So that call was interesting because the RP stated a guy was walking through the parking lot with a briefcase. So I was in my mind thinking to myself, he's got a briefcase at this time of night, walking through a parking lot, right? In the shadows, ducking in and out of the shadows. So I had to go to that call because I knew it would be what they call a character call. It may not be a crime, but it's definitely a character call. You pull up and there's going to be somebody doing something. And, pets and weird stuff and stuff like that. The show loves, but you also want to do your job because obviously, what if he was stealing catalytic converters or
this is true.
Operator breaking cars,
Yep.
had a warrant coming into our city to commit other crimes. So, that first things first, let's find this guy and make sure he's not committing crimes or about to. And then we'll handle the rest from there.
Then you have some fun with it.
Have some fun.
Vanilla Ice.
Let me ask you this before I forget. This lineup from Friday night.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting lineup. There was something different about Friday night on the lineup. Do you recall what it was? If you look at Friday night's lineup.
Yeah.
What stood out to you? Did you notice Richland only had one officer? One deputy?
No, didn't.
Richland only had one deputy. I've never seen that in Richland.
Interesting.
Now, I know they lost an officer several months ago. Shout out to Officer Siren and all of RC SD. I'm going to be doing a charity event this week for him, actually up in South Carolina, Columbia area, I think. But that night, when they lost him, the next day, nobody was on the show.
Mm-hmm.
In memorial of him. But then this happened and we couldn't figure out what was going on. If you know what happened in Richland Friday night, somebody put it in the comments. They even posted about it on their X. They were like, only officer Deputy Fitzsimmons tonight. Deputy Fitzsimmons, I'm sorry. It was pretty cool.
Let's see. Hey, Berkeley County. The lady that got trespassed from the bar. It was raining out like hurricane rain. Like, y'all had some serious rain up there.
Yeah.
They entertained that lady for, it seemed like the entire show. I was like, holy cow. How long do you sit with somebody before you're like, we got to get back to police work?
Yeah.
We can't just sit here and hang out with this lady.
Yeah.
Obviously it was pouring and they probably had no calls except for accidents, but
yeah,
like
it was a bit much. I saw some posts on social media, people saying that theme that night, Friday night, was babysitting.
Yeah, it was 100%.
I was like,
it was babysitting night.
Yeah. Well, at some point you have to take action. If she's refusing to leave, then she goes to jail. But if she's just voicing her opinion and you're free to stand there and listen, as long as you want.
But if she's trespassed and she says, hey, I got a ride coming in 15 minutes, and then an entire show of OPL goes by, when do you say, all right, listen, you got to walk in this rain and get off the property, or I don't
It's the fine line, man.
You just sit there and say, yeah, screw it, this lady's drunk and funny, and you just hang out?
You know what? Community policing.
All right.
Great job, Berkeley County. They could have easily just took her to jail. They said, no, let's work through this.
Yeah. You don't got to do all that.
Patience is the key.
It's true. Let's jump over to Saturday night with you guys starting off.
Can we start off Saturday
You and your boy Booth.
Oh, yeah.
How could you forget about Mr. Worldwide?
Pretty in Pink.
That was awesome.
He was angelic pitbull. He was an interesting. Remember Street Fighter?
Yeah.
Dowsum? That's what he reminded me of.
Why did?
Because he had the jewelry. Dowsing had the jewelry and the long arms, and he was
All right.
maybe of that ethnicity. I'm not sure, but that was a mess, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I like the way you did your approach, and you're just like, let me just get this taser ready because this is just all sorts of weird.
So why I went to the taser is because, guns don't kill people. What kills people, Jimmy? Hands kill people. Yes. So when I initially saw him, he's walking toward the door and his hands were in his pockets.
Mm-hmm.
So he sees me, I see him. I don't want to go straight to lethal. So taser, one hand comes out of his pocket, there's nothing in it. One hand's still in. But I noticed in that split second, it was a very shallow pocket in that jacket. So I said, okay, it's probably not a gun in there, a knife at most. If I have to deploy the taser, I can drop it, transition to the firearm if he comes out. So that's all going on in my head simultaneously as he's coming out and all this stuff's happening. So a lot of radio traffic was going back and forth as well. So you got to be thinking quick.
Was it a jacket or a robe?
Have you ever had a robe with a hood on it?
Yes. Yes.
How long was that? I don't even know how long the jacket or robe was.
It looked long. It looked like a dress almost, but it looked like a robe to me. Like,
I'm pretty sure the call said there was a black male with a pink hood and a pink dress. Pink hoodie and a pink dress. So I even said it on the radio. I repeated it so the dispatcher could clarify. Maybe they made a mistake and said meant a black female, but no, black male. Well, somebody was close enough to see that he was not of a different gender.
what did you find in the pockets?
Oh my goodness. So maybe you could explain this to me because you're a wise guy. Hey, wise guy. You right?
All right.
It was in his bag, in his handbag. He had those two bunnies.
Yeah.
They were cut out,
It's
wood
Easter.
cutouts.
Yeah.
Yeah, springtime,
Uh-huh.
right? And on said bunnies in pink hieroglyphics, if you will. I asked him what it was, and did you hear what he said it was?
I watched it and I was laughing the whole time at this because you and Booth were just
Bouncing off.
ping-ponging back and forth to each other, and I spaced out on what you said.
He said it was angel text.
Angel text. No, I missed that completely.
Yeah, something about angels. Put it in the chat if you remember exactly what I said, because it was happening so fast. And me and Booth were going back and forth between the grammar police and the regular police.
It's the worldwide.
And the blue eyebrows. Painted on eyebrows. Eyebrow pencils. You ever paint your eyebrows a different color?
No. Can't say I have.
I want to tell you what the funniest thing about that call was. But before I tell you the funniest thing in that call, it's important to note that several detectives were in the area for that call because we were out in full force working the bike event, which we always do. And we called, there's all hands on deck for these bike events. So they responded so quick. I just happened to I'm telling you, it was the grace of God that I saw this guy flashing into that lobby. It was just the paint just stuck out. So I had to do a U-turn, do another U-turn because I couldn't turn. There was cars in front of me, there's a bike in front. I was like, oh man. I had to do 2 U-turns to get back and find him before he disappeared. But it happened so quick. But no, the crazy thing about it is me and Booth have a special relationship. We worked on patrol together as sergeants as a shift years ago. And we keep maintaining a good friendship. So it's very easy for me to look at him and know he's about to say something crazy. Or I'm looking at what he's noticing. But the thing that really stuck out to me was all the jewelry. Did they show the bangles? He had bangles, 3 or 4 bangles on each arm. Like a toe ring.
It just goes with the whole ensemble.
Pink toenails. It was a handful. It was a handful. He was really leaning into the pink.
Purseful.
Yep. Breast cancer awareness month. Really.
That was it.
But he ended up going to jail for just the loitering and prowling. He couldn't charge him with anything else.
All right. Let's go jump over to Hazen. Lady got pulled over. You probably missed most of the show, huh? Since you were just out working.
Yeah, when I'm on the show, I have to go back, not only read what's going on in socials, but also try to watch abbreviated version of the show so I can be ready for the fans. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No.
So Hazen, they pulled over a lady with not having her lights on. Said she just got the car 6 months ago. Seems like a long time. You should figure out how to put the lights on, but
Yeah.
it was a bit strange. What do you do in that situation if you just people just driving around with no lights on?
Happens a lot. What kind of car was it? Was it a newer car?
Nissan Murano.
No, it's gotta be old.
It was kind of new.
Okay.
It had those bright LED lights.
Yeah.
I know some people like to just drive with those on because they look cool.
Yeah.
But you're not seeing nothing, 20 feet away.
Well, the majority of the time in Daytona, I can only speak for us. When people are in rental cars or a Toro or something like that, the daytime running lights are on, and they think they've been driving during the day and lights were on when they got out of the car, so they figured the lights were just on. A lot of times that's just a non-moving violation for turning on your lights at night, so you can take it wherever you want to go with it. But I don't think it's necessary, especially if they're, you get the clues. A
little older.
Like, yeah, maybe it's just a mistake.
Yeah.
You help them out, but I'm sure, Chief, did you ever pull them over?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There are some words used there that people didn't like, or was he good?
No, he was good. He was good. He was,
Back to Chief Taylor, whatever y'all know and love.
Yeah. You want to drop the sweetie? Go right ahead.
I'm cool with it. We said this last week, and we stand by this.
Yep.
We stand in solidarity here.
Southern hospitality. Go for it.
Please. We need more of that in the world.
It makes police work lighter and brings down the
way down.
Yeah.
Way down. Way down. I love it. So yeah, just a quick little help her out if she doesn't know the difference and get her back on the road. There was a question somebody asked me in relation to Noah on Friday night. Let me get this right here. Watch Me Fly 13 on X. Gymnast for life. Her question is, for those who live in Florida or anywhere with alligators, how the bleep do you not fear being eaten alive walking around at night? I'm thinking she's thinking near water, because you can walk around without being eaten by an alligator. Florida. There's not that many gators that are just on the street. I'm thinking she means near water.
Buddy, Johnny Duenas walked an alligator across a crosswalk in Palm Coast.
True.
They just had one last week that was just walking through the intersection. They're around.
They're around.
They're around.
They're everywhere.
I mean, there's a lake right outside. You want to go sit by the edge and see what happens?
No, we can hit a flashlight and catch some eyes, I'm sure.
I'm sure.
I remember that gator you had back there. But her question was, how do we not fear being eaten alive while just walking? Now, do you guys remember last year, Booth responded to the gator bite, the guy out in LPGA? He had the pond in his backyard. He heard some noise on his front porch. He thought his son was sneaking out. He opens the door and gets bit by an alligator. And we responded to the call. So what happens? You can go outside and get bitten by an alligator. But I guess the question is, how do we not fear it? I mean, a wise man once said, the only thing to fear is fear itself.
Oh, here we go.
All right, Jim, here we go. So there's a question from Katie Garrett. Katie Garrett on X hit me up. She was talking, well, she didn't hit me up. She put a post out there in response to the call I had with the dog. There was a dog. If you hadn't seen the episode yet, go check out Saturday night. There was a dog that was tied to the rim of a rim. There was no tire attached to this rim. He was attached to it. Long story short, one of our visiting bikers in town was driving down a roadway in one of our neighborhoods. The dog comes running across the street, dragging a rim attached to a chain. Excuse me. So he called it in, like any good Samaritan would, because he was concerned about the animal. Long story short, we get there and the animal's now wedged the wheel in some, sugar sand between a fence, and he's stuck, and now he's wrapping himself around a tree. So skinny dog. Unfortunately, a little bit malnourished, excuse me, and he wasn't having. He's in this wooded lot next to what seemed to be a vacant house. So me and another officer arrive on scene, and we're trying to coax the dog to come to us and just pet him. Lo and behold, Officer Lawson shows up. He puts his gloves on, walks right up between me and the other officer, and just grabs the dog and starts petting him. We're like, oh, oops, that doesn't look good. Oh, sorry. The dog was going crazy. He didn't want to be bothered by us. He was like barking and running and skittish, you know what I mean? And the neighbors came out and said, we know whose dog it is. So she asked, well, she commented, do not leave that dog with her. Katie, there are rules that apply to stuff like this. I understand where you're coming from. The dog was loose. The dog was running. The dog was young. It was almost like maybe a year. The owner came out and she took the collar right off the dog, and the dog was playing with her and happy to see her. He was like, oh, am I in trouble, Mom? You know, and his head was wagging. And she told him to go back to the house, and he ran back to the house, which is 2 doors down. Long story short, I get there and I'm like, what's going on? I got 3 dogs, and they all have cages or kennels. These are not the best of conditions, but the dogs had water. You said they ran out of food that day, that night. So the food bags were empty, but there was water with leaves and stuff in it. And I was like, oh. So we've seen multiple neglect cases in our city. Now, what I'll say is, if it's really, really, really neglect, we can take these dogs. But because there was water, the dogs could run and function, and they were happy to see them. They weren't like cowering down in the corner or flea infested. They had shelter. Unfortunately, by our policy or state statute, we couldn't take those dogs. Everybody wanted us to take those dogs. I had somebody from one of the humane societies locally in the area reach out to me right away. And she mentioned, hey, great job. You did it the right way. Our animal control actually went out today. The other day. You're watching this on the video. And they talked to those owners, inspected the dogs, make sure they had proper and adequate care. Nobody was sick. They were working to get vaccines, spayed and neutered, and things like that. So the dogs are safe. By now, there's going to be an update, I'm sure, on first shift. You guys will see that. So the dogs cause a lot of them.
Oh yeah, for sure. We're all pet people, right?
The 4-legged friends cause a huge.
Fur people. They're fur people.
Love them.
Yep.
Everybody says, and you probably agree, they like dogs better than people. Easy answer.
100%. Hold on.
Okay.
You need to text your boy Curtis.
Mm-hmm.
I want a lineup of his shoe collection. That's what I want. He has some heat.
Yeah, Curtis got some heat.
We need to compare.
He keeps them up under the table so you can't see them. We can see those shoes, Curtis, Hollywood Wilson. We see them.
Yep. I want to see that shoe collection. We'll compare them.
Curtis, we need to do an interview, brother. You're a busy man, but we should do an interview.
In Florida.
Whatever, we'll work it out. We can come to you. Fly us out. I don't care. Fly us to New York. We'll bring all the equipment. We'll do a quick interview.
Let's go.
Help us out.
Right.
Hey, brother.
That was a good time.
Good times, brother. Cheers, man.
Cheers.